53% of women say that they are struggling with imposter syndrome right now. 53% of women. And I can pretty confidently say that 100% of women at some time or other in their life have absolutely struggled with this, right? Has struggled with feeling like an imposter, and it has held them back in life in some form or fashion, whether that is personally or professionally. So, with that in mind, 53% of women right now are struggling and dealing with imposter syndrome. That means that half of your team is dealing with this. So, this makes it such an important topic for us to cover today. And if that is you, then I want to lift you up. I want to equip you with the tools to overcome it. And my hope would be for you to then be able to help others in the future, because we know at some point our team, our friends, our family, our children may be dealing with this at some point, right? And as my girl crush, Jamie Kern Lima, would say, guys, together, let's leave no girl, no woman, no person behind, knowing that they are seen, that they are valuable, and they are fully worthy, right? And not allowing anything or anyone to be holding them back. So, today I'm going to be sharing with you three really practical ways that I myself have used and apply to overcome my own imposter syndrome that I think will be really helpful for you and your team as well. So, to start, first, I'm not ashamed to say that I myself has struggled with imposter syndrome in the past. And it can even still creep its ugly little head at myself from time to time. With all the success that I've had in my life, it still happens to me to this day. And anyone that has achieved any kind of success, I think would probably share with you the same thing, is that it is a lifelong kind of battle. But what I know to be true is that part of what helps me move through it faster and to really keep it at bay for much longer, right, is for me to be honest with myself, honest with the people, the relationships, my team, and my clients, and be vulnerable, right, with myself, and even sharing it publicly like I am right now on this platform. Um, for example, I can remember when I left my six-figure job and started my own business. I had a lot of people, and my former bosses and managers that told me that I needed them, that I needed the big company name. And that was what was part of what made me successful. And that actually kept me there longer than I probably should have been, because I allowed those negative thoughts to stick with me, that I couldn't do it on myself by myself, right? That I sat on the sidelines for years building my clients' brands and their businesses and their social media, and neglected my own, right? That I had all the really good reasons and excuses why I shouldn't or I can't, but really it was all out of fear. I can recall having, kind of a minor breakdown, emotional breakdown, the first time that I had the honor of speaking on stage at a really big aesthetic conference. I can remember, getting on that plane and being with my team, and they're all excited for me, but just being terrified inside. And my best friend calling me and being like, "Oh, I'm so excited for you, and I'm so proud of you, and they're just gonna love you." And I'm like, "What if they don't love me?" Right. And like, I even get goosebumps thinking about it to this day because I can remember the fear that I had, that are they going to like me? Like, am I smart enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I giving them enough value, or am I just wasting their time? And the reason why I'm telling you all of this is not necessarily like what my imposter syndromes and my ugly little demons in my head are telling me, but that I kept going, right? I didn't allow all of the uncomfortableness and fear and anxiety that growing throws at us to hold me back, right? I kept going even when I was afraid, even when I thought maybe I wasn't enough. I did it scared. I did it anyway. And so can you. Too many of us let imposter syndrome really hold them back from their goals, from achieving what really is possible and what their true calling is and their true potential. So they allow things in their head, and those little voices that say, "I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not funny enough. I don't have enough time. Um, I'm not good at social media. I'm not good at consults or sales. I don't have enough followers, right? I don't have a big enough audience. I don't have the right device. I don't have the right skincare line. I just don't have enough experience." Um, Honestly, the list can go on and on and on. And what I've heard in my own head, what I hear from my clients, what I hear from providers and estheticians, right? The list is endless of the reasons, but guys, really the excuses of why we're holding ourselves back, right? And honestly, guys, it's all bullshit. It is all complete BS at the end of the day. So, is imposter syndrome a real thing? Yes, it absolutely is a real thing when you allow it. I know what it feels like to feel out of your own skin, uncomfortable. You can't even think straight because you are so uncomfortable, right? And to me, the far worst thing is to be so paralyzed with fear and in your head so deep in the sand that you don't even try, right? That's probably my biggest pet peeve in life, of when I see amazing women, talented people that are so paralyzed by fear and excuses that they don't even try, right? But if you take that label on, right, of "I have imposter syndrome," you take that label on and you believe it for yourself, guys, it's not imposter syndrome isn't the one that's holding you back, right? Really, you are holding yourself back. So trust me when I tell you just what is absolutely possible when you don't allow imposter syndrome to hold you back, right? What you can accomplish. Here's the thing is, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to be the prettiest in the room, the smartest, the skinniest. You don't have to have the most money. You don't have to have 1 million followers. Guys, I made my first $1 million before I even had 1,000 followers, right? I still don't have 1 million followers, not even close. I don't even have 10,000 followers, by the way, but I'm still showing up, right? I'm still sharing my message. I'm still doing whatever I can to make an impact in my clients' lives, in my team's life. And here's the thing, I still get awkward, feel awkward making content, showing up as my authentic self on social media and with my clients sometimes. Do I look good enough? Am I having a good hair day? Am I saying the right thing? Am I just freaking boring you to death? Will I offend someone if I cuss? Right? All of these things creep into my head, but yet I still show up because I've made this conscious decision that every day I'm going to show up, even when I'm scared. I'm going to show up. And I want you to do the same because I know what showing up every day has made in my life, in my team's life, and really the audience and my clients that I serve just by showing up, just by doing it imperfectly, right? Because perfection is this false reality that we are trying to chase after. And I'm telling you, I'm not giving up on chasing perfection. That's for sure. But I am still showing up every single day, even when I realize at the end of every day that I'm nowhere near it, right? I'm nowhere near that imperfection. So today, I'm going to give you some practical tips to help you overcome imposter syndrome. Because the reality is insecurities are normal. They make us human. I don't always like being human, if I'm being honest with you. I would just far rather not have these insecurities, right? But at the end of the day, we all are human, and those insecurities are going to creep their little head every once in a while. But insecurity should never get in the way of providing value to our patients, to your team. And I really don't want providing or those insecurities to, make it take longer for you to get where you want to go. Take longer to grow your business, right? To hit your benchmarks and your KPIs, to make loads of money, right? I don't want that to take longer for you. And if imposter syndrome, if our insecurities is holding us back from doing that, we got to change that, right? So let's dive in. Here are three what I think are pretty simple but very practical ways to overcome imposter syndrome. Okay. So, number one is, guys, you got to get around the right people. You got to surround yourself with the right people. Honestly, this is everything because energy is contagious. I am such 100% believer that energy is contagious. You want to surround yourself with the right people in the right room, for that matter. You don't want to be in the wrong room and feel like you don't belong, that people don't get you in what you are trying to do and achieve. So you want to surround yourself with people who they're not down on themselves, right? Because if they're down on themselves, you're going to feel like they're down on you. Instead, you need to surround yourself. And I want you to be relentless about finding a community of people who genuinely believe in you and your mission, right? And this is something that I'm really passionate about. And sometimes, frankly, I'm just too much for some people. And that's okay. I'm okay with that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and vice versa. I think we all have a place in this world. And I want to surround myself that has a similar energy, a similar passion, a similar mission of what they are after in their lives, which for me is to not only build like the business, but the life of their dream, right? I want to help women to be able to have it all because I was told for so many years that I had to choose, right? Like you could, have the career, but you can't have the family and the fun, or you can have the family and the fun, but you can't have the career, right? And I think that's bullshit. And so to surround myself with people that share that similar belief and passion and energy helps me and reminds me that I'm not crazy, that I can have and do it all, right? But if I was to choose to surround myself with like, woe is me, and I can only do this, and a victim mentality, then I know that I would not have the life that I have today. So you got to surround yourself with the right people. The second thing, and please, you have 100% control of this, is you have to prepare. You got to do the work. You got to practice. You got to do your homework. You have to show up, right? It's not just, if you magically, are just one of those naturally super talented people at everything you do. Kudos to you, right? Imagine what you could do more if you put in the work, but you have to prepare, right? You have to do the work. I'm sure that you've heard the saying, those who fail to plan to fail. I'm a huge believer in that. I can remember reading the book The Secret for the very first time, and I thought it was magical. And I, listened to the audio back then as well. And I remember seeing it first on Oprah when I, was just a teenager and being so inspired about it. But it didn't really like click that second part, right, of what your personal responsibility is in the preparation and doing the work, right? So the preparation is really what is going to be key in you becoming confident, right? When you know that you've done everything in your power to be ready for whatever comes your way, it will help you to approach any situation really with like this sense of calmness and assurance that is going to again push away that imposter syndrome that is knocking on your door when you've done the work, when you've prepared, right? So, you know, um, what is another saying is confidence is going to breed, is going to drive your confidence at the end of the day. So guys, just do the work, do your homework, dot your I's, cross your T's, and I promise you, your confidence, it's going to soar. And knowing that you are well prepared for whatever comes your way will give you such great confidence, such great peace at the end of the day. And then the third thing is to remember is to let go of perfection, right? And again, focus on practice making progress. I think I talked a few weeks ago about the importance of power of incremental gains, right? And that 1% better every single day. And then you look at the compounding impact that it makes in your life and in your business and with your patients and with your team. And oh my gosh, look at what you have accomplished over time, right? We greatly overestimate of what can happen in a week, in a month, right? But we greatly underestimate what can happen in a year, 3 years, or a decade. And I know this to be true because my 4 boys are just like growing like weeds, and time is flying by, and I'm already, at one minute they're all in diapers, and the next I'm already seeing, like graduation and them leaving the nest in sight, right? So time really flies, and don't underestimate what you can achieve, what you can do, how much you can grow when you are practicing and making that progress, right? When you are having those incremental gains. So let go of perfection. It's overrated. Instead, really focus on progress. Really focus on progress. So because guys, the reality is like it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be flawless, right? And that's okay. What really matters is that you're continuously improving, you're learning, you're growing, and that is what is going to really mark success in your life, right? I think about some of the great things that I have accomplished, and it wasn't really once I've accomplished those things that I'm most proud of or that like makes me the happiest thinking back on it. It's like the progress and work and the journey of arriving that was so much more gratifying, so much more fulfilling than getting the actual thing or doing the actual thing, right? You get to grow, you get to learn, you get to practice, you get to prepare, you get to fail. Gosh, guys, I can tell you some of my like greatest learning lessons absolutely came from failure that then set me up for my absolutely biggest growth trajectories that I've experienced both personally and professionally. So this is such a gift, right? To be able to simply reframe and change everything for you, your mindset in viewing imposter syndrome, right? It is to change your mindset behind it. Um, so at this point, I would love to open up the floor for any questions. Um, and just hear with potentially what is it that ask yourself, what is it that I've been holding myself back when I'm doing some honest self reflection because I'm allowing imposter syndrome to dictate my life, my actions, my goals, my aspirations. If you feel comfortable and putting that in the chat or in the comments, that would be amazing because I promise you it will help someone else that reads that be like, me too, me too. And today is going to change, right? Today I'm going to apply the things that we talked about today so that you can get over that, so you can move past that. Because if you aren't willing to try new things, right, or be seen, then you're not really going to get to that place that you're after, to get over that hill or that mountain that you are trying to climb at the end of the day. Hey, Kaylee. Hey, I see that you're back. Yes, I'm excited you're back. Hey, Miranda, thanks for joining us. All right, quick question here. I've been too, or maybe just a comment. I've been too scared to show up on social media because I don't have enough followers. So thank you for the permission. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, still, I mean, if you look at my content, I have religiously showed up for now a couple years. But before that, it was so hit or miss. It was so unauthentic to my voice because I was so worried about perfectionism and being cool and being funny and being trendy, right? I had to let go of it. And now I show up and I speak from my heart. I speak from what I know my audience and my clients need to hear because I have so many one-on-one conversations that are filled with emotion, with tears, with anxiety, with overwhelm, right? And so that's my passion of showing up every single week and sharing with you some of the tips and tricks that I've used in my business or applied to my clients' businesses that have made all the world's difference. And on social media specifically, because there are a handful, really, in the sea of thousands of med spas out there that have had that viral success, right? Or frankly, they just buy a shit ton of followers and they look like they're cooler, way cooler than they actually are, guys. And what I can tell you is that's not getting them business, right? That's not actually putting money in their pocket at the end of the day. That's not driving new patients into their practice that you could serve more patients, get amazing results for them and make more money, right? Now, I'm not saying all of them are like that, right? There are a handful that do it well and have both like the fame and serve patients and make the money, but it's so few and far between. It actually is such a false representation of reality. So I don't care if you have 100 followers, a couple thousand or 10,000, right? What's more important is what you do and how you love and care and nurture the audience that you have. And when you keep that in mind, it is going to like help you to show up for the right reasons. And I really believe that when you have the right reasons, the right purpose behind and being intentional about what you do, it's going to pay off in the end, right? Because you're going to be able to serve more people. I think about before social media, years ago, when I like the virtual space was not a thing, and like we had to drive to see people and drive to get into rooms to be able to speak to people. And if someone told me like, hey, I have an opportunity for you to speak to 10 med spa owners, or 20, or whatever it is, right? I know that I have at least that, if not more. Would you come drive across town and speak with them? Heck yeah, I would take that opportunity, right? But now it's so much easier. Now I just hit go live and I can speak to hundreds, if not thousands, of my target audience every single day that I want to speak to and serve. And you can too, right? So think about that, right? When you're like, oh, I don't want to go live, oh, I don't want to post anything, right? Well, if you had someone say, hey, you can speak to this women's group, right? These women that own their own businesses, make six figures, really care about their appearance and their wellness, right? You have an opportunity to speak in front of them about anything you want. You surely would show up and pour into those women, right? So that is what I always keep in mind of when I'm showing up each week, right? Like, again, in the beginning, guys, when I showed up, it was crickets, right? I think my mom and my besties would hit little hearts. And I even have, friends that would like go and turn, different devices on in different rooms because they were just trying to help me with my metrics. And I was like, oh, thank you and two other people, right? And it compounded that effort over time. And now I have people watching, I have people listening, I have people engaging. I'm making an impact, right, with my audience, and you can too. Okay, another question here. Sometimes I don't feel qualified enough to make a recommendation and it holds me back. So I'm not sure if this is a recommendation like in the treatment room or on social media, but this is kind of where I say that you have to do the work, right? So if you're not feeling confident and comfortable in making a recommendation, then you need to surround yourself with people that are confident, right, in making the recommendations and learn from them. Do the work. I can remember, and I share this all the time, when I first started in my career, I was like, I got the nickname like that I was the bird dog, right? Because I could find the new business, I could start the relationship, but I didn't know what I was doing to then help the client, right? Once I started up the account, they loved me, they thought I was so great, and they would listen to me, they trusted me, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? So then I had to find someone that I could learn from, right? And so for the first year in my career, I was the bird dog, and then once I brought, the expert in, I just listened and listened, and I learned, and I took notes, and I asked questions, and then pretty soon I could do it myself. And pretty soon I wasn't a bird dog. I was making my own business, right? Doing it myself. So if you're a newer esthetician or a provider, that's where I was. You got to find a mentor. You got to find someone to learn from, and you need to open your ears, and you need to listen, and you need to study, and you need to do the work, and you got to invest in yourself. One of my pet peeves is for employees that work for someone that wait for their boss to invest in them, right? Or to tell them what they should do to get better. And yes, you should have support and training, and they should invest in you. Absolutely. I'm a true believer in that, right? But I didn't get where I am today because I was waiting for someone else to invest in myself, right? Whether that's personally, professionally, spiritually, your health, right? You are the only person that controls your happiness. You are the only person that controls how much money that you make, right? And how you live your life and how you provide value to your patients and to your team. You control your own destiny. So never put that out on someone else, right? You need to take 100% responsibility and accountability for being able to achieve what it is that you want in life, right? So if you're not feeling confident in making a recommendation, then you got to do the work, right? You got to surround yourself with people that do know, right? And then pretty soon you'll feel more confident in that. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I know I went a little bit longer today, but this is something that I am so passionate about because I know that not only, my clients, my team, my friends, myself, right, our clients, team members, this is such a huge thing, right? And I want everyone to live their biggest, their best lives, both personally and professionally. And that's absolutely possible when we don't hold ourselves back, when we don't allow imposter syndrome to be the narrative that we tell ourselves, right? So at the end of the day, surround yourself with really positive people that are going to uplift you, believe in you when you don't believe in yourself, right? That you need to do the work, right? If you want to be an expert in something, if you want to become more confident in something, you got to show up and you got to do the work. You can't wait for it to just magically happen or wait for someone else to teach you how to do something. You got to take control of your own destiny, right? And then the last thing is you got to show up and celebrate the wins, celebrate the progress. And that's going to help you to continue to show up again and again, right? So I hope this training has been helpful for you. I hope that I've challenged you to let go of some of maybe your false beliefs or excuses or narratives that we tell ourselves that have frankly just been holding you back. And if you loved this training, make sure that you share it with your team or another med spa, or even guys, even if someone that is not part of the aesthetic industry could benefit. And you can catch the replay on my YouTube channel, and you can access all my free trainings that will help your med spa grow by visiting my link tree in my social bio. And be sure to join us live every single week, same time, same place. Catch us live Wednesdays, 2:30 Central Time. Catch me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Have an awesome day.